Hello, welcome to the Love Heals Method. I'm Sophia Rose. I'm so happy that you're here. If you haven't been here before, this is a channel of empowering and heart-centered teachings for women on the topics of holistic body, mind, spirit wellness, love and relationships, chakra healing, and positive life transformation. I teach women how to holistically heal their bodies, their relationships, and their lives with the power of love, starting with self-love and divine universal love. So this is the second chakra in my 7 chakra video series on healing your chakras with love. Heart-centered chakra healing for women. I did one last week on healing chakra 1 with love. This one is on healing chakra 2 with love. So first of all, chakra 2 is located in the center of your pelvis, right around the area of your uterus. So this is considered your feminine power center because this is really the home of your feminine energy, specifically your empowered feminine energy, as I'll be talking about in a little bit. The main issues in this chakra are your emotions. It's all about your emotions, your feelings, your vulnerability, your feminine energy, which is also connected to your sensuality, your sexuality, your creativity. It also is a powerful intuitive center, and it's about being flexible as well and going with the flow. There's an element associated with each chakra. And that first chakra, it was the earth, because it was about grounding for one thing. And this chakra, the element is water, right? Because our emotions flow and they really are connected with water. You think of sometimes our emotions are like the ocean, sometimes it's like a little sprinkle of rain, etc. But anyway, if you get imbalanced in this chakra, the signs would be things like if you have any kind of reproductive challenge or issue, gynecological challenge or issue, from PMS to menstrual cramps to infertility. I mean, there's so many different problems in this area that women can have. That's a sign that you need some healing in chakra 2. Also, if you have any bladder or kidney issues, again, that relates to the water issues and the flow of water, that would be a sign. And any kind of issues with your emotions, you may feel like your emotions are shut down, or you may feel like you're imbalanced emotionally. You emotionally react, too quickly and overreact. That is a sign. If you're basically codependent, codependent is we're really always focusing on other people's emotions and how they're doing and what's going on with them and taking on too much responsibility for other people's emotions. That is a sign that you definitely need healing in this chakra. As women, we are particularly we really absorb emotions easier in this chakra. We're very receptive, and because receptivity is an aspect of feminine energy. So that's why it's very important for us to have energetic and emotional boundaries, right? To not take on responsibility for other people's emotions, to know what's our emotion and what's someone else's emotion. What's the difference there between the two. So basically, this chakra is also about our sensuality and our sexuality and about just how we feel about being a woman. And one of the things I teach women is to celebrate being a woman and to celebrate and embrace your divine, empowered feminine energy. As a woman and as human beings, whether you're a man, a woman, whatever your gender is, whatever your sexual preference is, we all have feminine and masculine energy. In Chinese medicine, it's called the yin and the yang. And there's feminine and masculine, yin and yang energy all around us, day, night, the sun, the moon. So everyone has a certain unique balance of that inside of them. But one of the things that I have found over years and years of teaching and coaching women and just living in our society and culture as long as I have, is in studying women's spirituality, women's issues, is that our culture has really discounted and devalued feminine energy and just really focused on masculine energy, seeing that as strong, feminine energy is weak and more important, and etc. And so women have tended to discount and devalue their own feminine energy. Tragically, a lot of women have thought that their feminine energy is weak, and nothing can be further from the truth. Now, there's, as I talk about in my book, there's empowered feminine energy or disempowered feminine energy. Same thing with masculine, empowered masculine energy and disempowered masculine energy. Uh, if we're talking about the chakras, we would talk about imbalance, like empowered feminine energy and imbalanced feminine energy. So I'm going to explain the difference from the two, between the two of those, because when we're talking about the healing the second chakra, we want to have balanced. We want to be sure that our energy is balanced and that we are allowing ourselves to be in our feminine energy as well as our masculine energy at times, right? And like I said, it depends on the woman. Some women are naturally more feminine energy based. Some have more masculine energy. Some are really, equal. um, but we can always choose kind of which energy we want to be in as well. But because it's been so discounted and devalued, it's likely that you can discount your own feminine energy. So, what is feminine energy? Feminine energy is about your emotions, about your feelings, the things that I just mentioned, about your sensuality, your creativity, your intuition. Okay. It's a receptive energy, it's an allowing energy, it's a going with the flow, it's relationship oriented, it's collaborative, right? Where masculine energy, oh, and it's heart based. Where masculine energy is more mind based, it's about thinking, it's about logic, it's about being analytical. Um, Masculine energy is about taking action, and feminine energy is about being. We're human beings, we're not just doings. So, the feminine energy is about the journey in life, the importance of the journey, where masculine energy is more goal oriented, more achievement oriented, more externally oriented, and the feminine energy is more internally oriented. So you can see that if we're always in our masculine energy, we're always emphasizing the masculine, the doing, the taking action, the mind, the thinking, the analysis, the rationale. We're going to be missing out on many other important things that we need for health and balance. Our feminine energy is equally as powerful as our masculine energy and equally as important. But if we get out of balance with it, we can go into, we're too passive, we're submissive, we don't have boundaries, we're codependent. Codependent is kind of taking on, one of the things with codependency is taking on the responsibility for other people's emotions that aren't yours. It's really a lack of self-love and a lack of connection to yourself. Okay, because that feminine energy is very relationship oriented, where the masculine energy is more self oriented. But when they get out of balance, if you're out of balance with the masculine energy, for example, you could become selfish, too self absorbed. But if you're out of balance with the feminine energy, you could lose your connection to yourself because you're so focused on everyone else, right? The relationships in your life. So if you have any challenges with emotions, emotional balance, with connecting with your emotions, with any reproductive challenges, any challenges with gynecological challenges, infertility, PMS, cramps, all of these things, or any kind of urinary kidney issues, these are all issues related to an imbalance in your second chakra. So And what a lot of women, another thing I've noticed is a lot of women, they just they lose touch with their creativity, right, and their intuition, or they discount their intuition. And your second chakra is the home of your womb or your uterus, and this is a very powerful intuitive center. There's also a very powerful connection between your heart center and your second chakra. Your second chakra is it's really like your second heart. We have an inner knowing. We can connect to our intuition and an inner knowing here in the heart center, but we also have a feeling that we get in that womb space or that womb center where our uterus is. There's a lot of wisdom there, women's wisdom. So I always teach women to connect by putting one hand on their heart and one on their lower abdomen, the second chakra area, because that's a very powerful thing to do, to tune in and connect with your wisdom, your intuition, your feelings, your emotions, and just to stay really connected to yourself when you are with other people, rather than just all of your energy going out and losing that connection with yourself. So what we need to do to be balanced and to heal this chakra with love is we need to bring love to our emotions. Um, a lot of women emotionally abandon themselves when they have a painful emotion. They go up into their head, the masculine energy, or they go to addictions, they eat, they, drink, whatever it is to avoid the painful emotion, or they become critical of themselves. That's also abandoning yourself, or blame other people for their emotions. None of that works. What you want to do is place that hand on your heart, one on your second chakra, when you're having some kind of painful emotion, and ask yourself, what are you feeling? What are you needing? Because under that painful emotion, you have a need. The second chakra is about vulnerability and emotional needs. So you may be feeling lonely. That means ask yourself what you need. You're going to probably need connection, either connection with yourself, connection with other people, or more connection with the divine. If you're feeling angry, that sometimes comes up because you need to set a boundary. Right? So emotions are there for a reason. They have messages. So to heal this chakra, you want to hold your emotions in yourself in a loving space when you have a painful emotion, and with compassion. And that will help you to tune in to what the need is underneath that emotion. And then you want to take a loving action for that need. So if you feel like you need more connection to the divine, then maybe you'll meditate. If you need more connection to people, you realize, I think I'm going to call a friend, right? That is loving yourself emotionally. That is healing and balancing this chakra with love. You also want to just bring love to being a woman, to sensuality, to your sexuality. If you have any kind of shame or blocks or fears, that would be another sign that you need healing in this chakra. You want to work on that. Maybe you want to explore tantra, sacred sex practices. Maybe you want to work on healing some trauma that you might have had in this area of your life. And maybe you need to bring back the sacredness of it, and study the sacredness of sex, because it's really important that you have sexual boundaries as well as emotional boundaries, right? That a lot of women are saying yes when they want to say no, or they're just not feeling it's okay for them to have boundaries. And you can do whatever you want when it comes to your body, but the key thing is it's your body, and you have a right to allow or not allow someone into your body. You know what I mean? It's your body, and it's your temple, as I think we talked about in chakra 1. It is really the temple of your soul. So think about that. And the other thing is mastering your emotions. there's a couple of things involved with that. Not only do you want to connect with your emotions in the present moment, as I just described when they come up, but you want to realize that you're not your emotions, right? There's a deeper part of you that can feel those emotions, can hold them in that loving space, but there's a part of you that can observe them in a sense. And so when you have an emotion, rather than say, I am sad, say, I feel sad. I feel sad. That gives you more power because you can choose how you want to respond from your empowered woman self. Versus when we're emotionally reacting to things, we're usually reacting because of with a younger or from a younger part of ourself that was hurt in the past, or it doesn't even have to be when we're younger, just in the past. And that's because we're letting the emotion take us over, right? As an empowered woman, we know that we can master our emotions. Doesn't mean that we don't feel them, but means that we have the choice in how we respond and when we respond. And the other thing about mastering your emotions, which helps you to heal this chakra, is to work on healing your emotional past. Because if you have a lot of baggage and you're bringing that into the present, and it's going to make it hard to not emotionally react. So healing is a journey, as I've said. We're always working on healing things, on forgiving ourselves, on forgiving others, but it's very worthwhile. So you want to bring love to your sexuality. You want to bring love to your sensuality, and which sensuality is different than sexuality, right? Sensuality is enjoying all of your senses. That's what this chakra is about. Your feelings, your what you see, what you hear. Beautiful music. How things feel. How does the clothes feel on your body? The silk. How does the wind feel on your face? This is all part of your feminine energy and your sensuality. Another thing that can really help you to heal your second chakra and to connect with your feminine energy, if you feel like I have noticed a lot of women do feel that you've been disconnected from your feminine energy, the way I described earlier, you're more in your masculine energy, is dance. And particularly the kinds of dance where you're moving your hips. That could be salsa dancing, or something that's really beautiful is belly dancing, sacred belly dancing. I've taught women some belly dance moves, and it's helped them so much to just enjoy and celebrate being a woman. It gives you, I don't know, some kind of confidence about it. And it doesn't matter how old you are, what size you are, what shape you are. It's a beautiful thing to do. You don't even have to take a class. You can just do it at home and learn a few hip circles, hip shimmies, snake arms. Absolutely beautiful, because these movements are very flowing, right? And again, the feminine energy is about flow, flowing energy, being in the flow. So this is your second chakra. This is your feminine power center. If you need any help at all with healing, balancing the energy in this chakra, if you need any help at all with embracing your empowered feminine energy, I would absolutely love to help you. Please, and support you. Please go to my website, which is thelovehealsmethod.com. Part of my mission is to help women to bring the sacred back to our feminine energy, to not discount masculine energy. That's important too. We need that. That part of that is setting boundaries, which I'm going to talk about actually next week with chakra 3. But because our feminine energy has been so discounted and devalued, I think a lot of women are realizing, hey, we need to level that up and bring it to an equal level with the masculine energy. All right, so if you need any help, visit my website, thelovehealsmethod.com, and please like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Next week, we'll be talking about healing and balancing chakra 3 with love, and a big part of that is about setting healthy boundaries and understanding what the difference is between having healthy boundaries and standards as women and having needy expectations, something that a lot of women get confused about. All right, until next time, I hope you have a wonderful week and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.